a few months ago, we teamed up with SLCC in a joint effort to make some lives better. Because as sheriff, you know, I'm always looking for ways to better this office so that we can serve the people better. But I'm also looking for ways that we can help the inmates that we house. You know, it's not just the care and custody of those inmates. We're trying to find ways that's gonna better them and give them an opportunity once they get out of jail. And talking to SLCC, we was looking at some different programs, and a welding class came up. And we thought, what better way to help out the inmates, give them an opportunity to become certified welders. And they needed a minimum, and we was able to meet that minimum. And after about 3 or 4 months, these young men graduated. They graduated last week. It's something I'm very proud of because, you know, at that graduation, these men seem to be so proud of the accomplishment that they did. And you know, we're able to help them out by doing that. We've actually have several jobs lined up for some of them. We're still looking for the last few to get them jobs so that they can help provide money to their families, and it gives them an income. Once they get out of jail as well, they keep that job. And we've seen when they go in this work release program, they usually stay out of jail. And that's our goals. We want to rehab. And that's what we need to do as law enforcement as well. You know, if you're in charge of a facility like we are. And we're gonna continue to look for ways. In fact, next week we're sitting back down with SLCC and seeing what's new. They have some CDL stuff that comes up, forklift driving certifications, and they have some other things that we're looking at. And this time, this could happen right there at the jail. They'll be able to go to the jail and teach all this. So we're gonna continue to work with different programs so that we can help the inmates stay out of jail once they're out. They're good people. They, you know, they make a mistake. We all do. So we want to give them that second chance. And I can't speak highly enough of the instructors, the administration at SLCC, and also the companies, the local companies that's giving these young men these jobs. So with that in mind, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any questions.
Sheriff, how were the inmates selected to participate in the program? And then second, was there a particular reason why the welding program was selected first?
It was different programs was kicked around, and you know, we have the work release program. We've been having that up and running for a while now. And a lot of companies have been coming to us saying, do you have welders? We're looking for welders. And just so happens when welding come up, we thought, man, it'd be a great opportunity for these young men if they want to do that. Welding, as you know, is a tough job, it's a high job, but you can make a good living welding. And you know, some of these guys just need an opportunity. And that's what we was trying to do. And like I said, we're gonna continue to do that.
So how did an inmate qualify for it?
The qualifications are set by DOC, just like the work release.
Okay.
There's certain crimes that you cannot do. I mean, it can't be an escapee or murder, things like that. So they sit back and say, this is the qualifications, and if they're qualified and they're willing to do it, they're in the program.
So did y'all question them or
yes, it's a background that
Okay.
we have to do with all the inmates, and we went through the jail, you know, dorm by dorm, and said, this is an opportunity that we have, and if anybody wants to do it, please let us know. And we had 8 of them that said we want to do it. 7 graduated. And like I said, I can't be more prouder than those guys. You know, at the graduation, they were so grateful and you know, genuine. You know, and through the work release program, I have seen people get out of jail with $75,000 in their pocket.
Wow.
And that's also sending money home to help their parents, their loved ones, grandparents, their kids. So, you know, to me, you can't be more prouder than a good, hard, honest day's work. To be able to take care of your family, and you can see it in those guys' faces that they was grateful knowing that they can do that. And it was something that they accomplished that they'd be proud of.
So while they're still incarcerated, they're allowed to I guess as a trustee to go and perform the work as
Yes,
a welder?
yes. Those guys that just graduated, most of them have jobs already, so they're already working. And what happens is that money just goes in the bank, not unless they want to send money home. And, you know, so they continue to work until they get out. But once they get out, what's great about these companies, and that's why I say I have to praise these companies, they keep those jobs. So once they get out of jail, they keep those jobs. They live a normal life.
Are there sentences maybe a little shorter to be able to qualify to go into the work release program?
Yeah, it depends on the sentence and what the crime was. It all depends on that. Some of these guys, I think the longest one is about 3 years left in jail. So, and we have some about a year.
You mentioned talking with SLCC about more training. What other programs are y'all looking at specifically?
Like I said, the CDL, where they're looking at doing the forklift driving, rigging for offshore. So that's some of the things that's come up so far. But like I said, Wednesday coming up, we have a meeting. We're sitting down with them again to see what all the programs they have, what they're going to be able to offer to us this time. And we just got to have the numbers for them to have that class.
What about the individuals that don't graduate from the program? Like, let's say they go through and they don't make it through. Do they have another opportunity in the future to go through it again?
Absolutely, because, you know, just because if they fell out or what something happened, we're always looking at ways to better them as well. I mean, like I said, we don't want to see them back in jail. Some of them are really, really good people. They just made a mistake. And that's why we're trying to do these type of programs to give them a hand up, not a handout.
Is St. Mary the first sheriff's office in the state to do something as progressive as this?
I'm not sure, but I know talking to SLCC, since this program has happened, there's a couple of parishes that are doing something with them as well. I think it was Lafayette and one other one.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but they did say 2 other parishes. So if we started something, that's fantastic. And if other facilities give their inmates an opportunity, more the better, the better.
Do you see maybe some positive peer pressure inside the facility where these 7 graduates maybe kind of rub off on some of their other peer inmates and maybe inspire them to want to participate?
I hope so. Look, these 7 guys they had a great attitude through it all. You know, talking to the instructors and everybody else involved, they said it was one of the best classes they ever had. They said they'd take these guys anytime. They was into it. They wanted to learn. They wanted to do good, and they said, you know, at times they took over. They did things that they knew they had to do, and it was just a refreshing class for them as well. So hopefully they do see what's going on, and other inmates take advantage of it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll bring up the touchy point, I guess. How much does this cost the taxpayers?
The only thing it costs the taxpayers, the class was free. I had to send a deputy to the class every day with them. And to me, that little bit of amount is well worth what we accomplished here. And, you know, with the next classes, it would probably be at our facility. So we won't even have to do that. We'll just put the inmates that are participating into the classroom, and the instructors will go there.
How long over time did this last?
It's about 3 or 4 months
3 or 4 months?
that they was in the class.
Are the classes happening at the jail or?
This particular class, the welding class, happened at one of their facilities, the SLCCs, in Baldwin.
And they get just transported by bus or?
Yeah, we transport them in a van, and like I said, one of our employees stay with them all day.
And what period does this start? Like, is there like a certain period that this happens, like every October, like what month does this take place?
This one just came up just out of the blue, and now it's getting back with the facility to see what they can give us and when they can start. And you know, because if they say a month from now, 2 months, 2 weeks, we're going to do our best to have everybody ready. Because like I said, this is a great thing for the inmates, for the school. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough of SLCC.
when you talk about corrections, there's always this tension between lock them up and you know, you want to be a more liberal approach, you know, and rehabilitation included. You sound like you've got some hope for rehabilitation there.
I do. I mean, you know, none of us can say we're perfect. We've all made mistakes, including myself. Probably too many to mention or want to mention. But, you know, if you can't give these young men a second chance, you know, there's something wrong with that. I mean, we've all gotten second chances before. And, you know, like I said, these programs that we see stats show that they stay out of jail. And that's what we want. We don't want to see them back. We want them doing, you know, a good, hard, honest living and taking care of themselves, taking care of their families. And if we can do that, we're all for it.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll get you in a second.
You're good.